Last year, J.J. Watt was listed at 288 on the Cardinals roster.
All right.
What does J.J. Watt weigh now? Who would like to go first?
Todd, I'll start with you.
I was just texting someone and I did not hear the question.
Okay.
How much does J.J. Watt currently weigh?
He weighs 258.
258. All right. Seton O'Connor, what's J.J. Watt weigh right now?
I would say 265.
All right. Marvin.
I'm going to say 268.
268. Paulie.
262.
I'm going to go 267.
Man, we're all flirting, right? With that.
Yeah, we are. I think he's dropped 20. Let's bring in J.J. Watt, three-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, now going to be working for CBS Sports in the studio. J.J., how much do you weigh right now?
Well, first of all, my listed weight was a little high last year. I actually played at about 281, 282. I currently weigh 278.
278?
Yeah.
You've let yourself go.
I know, it's a disaster. it's just a disaster. No, it is interesting. It's very interesting, the whole dynamic of how it all goes from a nutrition and a lifting, working out standpoint when you're done. I certainly eat a lot less than I did when I was playing. I still work out about 4 days a week, but a whole lot less running and cardio, a lot more vanity and cosmetic lifts.
Okay.
But there's still some habits that are hard to break. I still squat. I still do a lot of the lifts I used to, but I'm down about 3 pounds. I agree with you guys. It does feel and look like I've lost a little bit more, but the scale still says 278.
How close were you to playing for the Packers?
Oh, wow. You're really going in it right away. It's a story for another day, but it would have been awesome.
Well, why for another day?
I have to get more information about it before I really talk about it more, but it would have been cool.
Yeah, I thought that seemed like able to go back home and that it was going to be a big deal to be able to do that, or at least try to do that. So I'll respect.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really an option. That's all I'll say.
Okay. When did you get interest from CBS to join them as a studio host?
It's a great question. I mean, we kind of talked about stuff like this for the last few years, trying to discuss what I would do when I was done. The biggest thing for me, and the thing I'm most excited about, is obviously I said early in my career I didn't want to do any of this stuff. And then as I got towards the end of my career, I realized how much I love the game, and I realized how much I want to be around it. I can't be away from it. But I also want to be around my son. I also want to spend time with my family, and I didn't want to retire and immediately hop into a 20-plus week job. So CBS has been incredible. They're gonna let me come in and out this fall, spend some time with my son, come in, do some things, and then be a part of the group. So they've been great.
If when your son gets ready to pick a sport, let's say he wants to pick a sport, which one, since your wife, soccer player, you of course playing football, where would you steer your son to?
I mean, did you see that contract Mbappe got offered? He's kicking a soccer ball as we speak. I mean, he's in training right now.
Would you steer him towards soccer?
I mean, he's huge, man. I mean, he's a big boy. Sure, I would like him. I think soccer would be great, but the reality is, I think he's. You just look at him, and I think he's going to be a football player. But soccer is the worldwide sport. You can do so many different things with it. I think it's very beneficial. I've always said for kids to play multiple sports, so he's definitely going to play both growing up. But I'm not one of those guys that's like, I don't want my son to play football. If he wants to play football, I want him to play football.
Let's guess how much J.J. Watt's son weighs. How old's your son?
He's 9 months.
9 months old. Paulie?
Now, I got some inside information. He was 18 pounds at birth. So
he wasn't.
That's what I was told. I got the announcement, JJ.
He was not 18.
I'm going to go he's 9 months. It's like 30 pounds.
30 pounds. Todd?
24/7.
All right.
Ooh.
Seton?
22.5.
All right. Marvin?
28.
He's 23. He's 23 pounds right now at 9 months.
See, I haven't. He hasn't been weighed since the 6 months. So it would be great if there was like a commercial break or I could go in and weigh him right now. But I would guess he's probably right around the 25-pound mark right now.
Okay, what percentile is it?
He's every time we go in, she doesn't even show us the charts. She's just like, he's the top. Yeah, he's 99.
And once again, you do not say you're babysitting. You don't babysit your own child.
No.
Just want to
Who
make
says
sure.
that?
Well, people do that. You know, like the phrasing of, "Oh, what are you doing today?" "Oh, I got to babysit my child." So just make sure.
No, that's terrible.
Yes,
that's terrible.
You're not babysitting.
No, I'm taking care of my son.
Well, where is he now?
He I am on morning duty today. My wife and I switch off every day. Who wakes up with him? But she was very kind to wake up so that I could do this interview with you, and he wasn't going to.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of times when players go into the booth or they go in as an analyst, then people will say, well, can you be critical? Are you going to be able to offer, what opinions, what insights? Like, what will be your approach in how, as a former player, you handle the current players?
Yeah, I'm not shy in saying that I'm not going to be the crazy critical guy doing hot takes left and right, because I've been on the other side of that, and I know what it's like when the person in the booth or the person analyzing it doesn't know your exact job on that play and doesn't know exactly what your responsibility was. So I'm not going to be the guy popping off the handle saying, why was this guy in high post safety coverage when he was supposed to be covering the flat? That's not going to be me. But I am going to offer a bunch of insights and things that I have learned over the years that I don't think the general public hears a ton about. I mean, I think that there's a lot of really interesting things that you can learn and things that people hear, from snap counts to pre play checks and things that guys are doing. I mean, we hear all these things like the Omahas, and like Patrick Mahomes comes up the line, he's saying all this stuff. I've had 12 years of knowing exactly what all that stuff means, and I think I'm not going to give away their secrets, but I do think the fans wonder what that means. I do think, when you bring a guy in motion and fans are wondering why are we doing this, those are the types of things that I can help with. And then also, if a guy is struggling, if a guy is going through a tough stretch, maybe it's a guy that's normally a 15, 20 sack guy and he's not getting to the quarterback lately, I can explain and point out why that's happening, whether it's double teams, whether it's chips, whether it's he's seeing extra attention, etc.
Talking to J.J. Watt, and he'll be working with CBS as a studio analyst coming up this fall. I was also wondering about this. When you don't have to name names, but a quarterback who had a tell. When you're playing against them, you knew this. Did you have, how many of those quarterbacks do you think that you encountered?
I mean, everybody has something. It just depends on how useful it actually is. I mean, there's some guys that give away their snap count where you can tell, okay, this one's going to be on 1, this one's going to be on 2. There's some guys that
how do you give away?
things.
How do you give away the snap count?
So there's different things. Like when a guy walks up to the line of scrimmage, a lot of times, I mean, it's funny how simple this game can be at times. Like you got to get 11 guys on the same page. So a lot of times you got to remind the offensive lineman what the snap count is as you're walking up to the line, because there's so many things going on through your head, they already forgot by the time they get up there. So a guy will say something real simple. It could literally be just white, like as he's walking around trying to do it nonchalantly. But if he says white, that means it's on 1. If he says black, that means it's on 2. It's little stuff like that. And even better than that, like this is the great stuff. Even better than that, like, we're football players. We're not the smartest people on the planet. After he says that, the offensive lineman will still have to remind each other. They'll be like, was it white? Yeah, it's white. And so, like, you're getting triple confirmation at the line of scrimmage that it's on 1. And then I'm also a dumb football player myself, so I'm still jumping off sides at times. I know, like I'm sitting over here like these idiots. They don't even know the snap count. Like, they can't remember it. And then here I am jumping off sides like a real moron. Then there's other bigger tells. Like, there's some quarterbacks in the shotgun that they lift one heel up a little bit if it's going to be a run play, and they put that heel down on the ground if it's going to be a pass play, so they can drop back. Like, there's little things under center. Some quarterbacks will bend their knee a little bit more if they're going to drop and hand off the ball to the right. They're going to hand it off to the left. So, like, there's a whole bunch of little things like that that are really fun. And I love, those are the things my brother and I talk the most about.
But also, you're reading the tackle who's in front of you, I'm guessing for body language as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can see a ton of different things there. A lot of times, one of the most basic ones is pass versus run. A guy's foot will be way back in the stance. If it's pass, it'll be up forward if it's a run. I mean, you have the old school one that doesn't really work anymore because everybody wears gloves, but like the white knuckles leaning forward in a run, leaning back on a pass. An interesting thing that I always tell young guys with tackles, with any offensive lineman, their outside knee always moves first. It's just a little thing, but it's always the first thing to move. So whenever you're keying a get off for an offensive lineman, you key their little outside knee. If you're not a guy that likes to look at the ball, all little stuff like that. That's stuff you gain over the years.
That's good stuff. We had Steve Young on last week, and he said that today's game, you've got to take advantage of the yards. If you're a quarterback, you've got so much open space, you've got to be able to run, extend a play. He said the days of Dan Marino and Peyton Manning are over. What do you make of that?
I mean, I think it's massively beneficial if you can move. I don't think it's a 100% necessity, but I do think that if you have the ability to it just makes life so much more difficult for defenses. I mean, not only from a pass rush standpoint, having to try and keep you in the pocket and then chase you when you're out of the pocket, but when you can move, you extend the play so long. And the DB is a cornerback is the hardest job besides quarterback, the guy who actually has to know everybody's job. But physically, the position of cornerback is the hardest position to play in the NFL. You're not allowed to touch the guys, but you have to cover them. They know where you're going. You don't know where they're going. And it's just the longer you have to do it, the harder it is. So any quarterback that can extend the play with their legs just allows the receiver to get open.
And also, the cornerback then has to come up and make a tackle as well, for a quarterback running or a running back running. The devaluing of running backs. What advice would you give either the NFL Players Association or running backs as how to improve your financial lot in life?
It's really tough, man. I mean, it's the best proof so far that business is the business. Like we just that is the reality of the situation. Some people are beneficiaries of it, the fact that contracts are going up and people are willing to value positions higher, and some people are on the other side of it, and running backs right now are on the other side of it, where ownership is kind of seeing that in their eyes you can try and find a guy in the draft and you can try and find a younger guy and pay that guy a whole lot less and see if you can get by. And they're basically, what they're trying to say essentially is that I can find a running back that's not as good, but the margin is smaller. I can't do that at edge. I can't do that at receiver. And I mean, I've played against a lot of running backs, and there's some incredible running backs out there that I believe are worth every single penny. It's just that's the business that the owners have decided to do. And from what do you do as a player standpoint? Sadly, there's really not a whole lot you can do. You go out there and you play as good as you can possibly play, but we're in a CBA. Like you can't have one position group hold out. It doesn't work, sadly.
I noticed the hat, Burnley Soccer. So you're a part owner of the soccer club?
Indeed.
Oh, wow. My bad.
I just don't want you to get in trouble with the Europeans, Dan. I know you're big in Europe.
I am.
So I just want you. Yeah.
By the way, we're going to Dublin in 3 weeks. Going to do the show over there. I mean, you have an open invite. Will Ferrell's going to join us. So
I absolutely adore Ireland. It is one of my favorite places in the world. Guinness is the nectar of the gods, and I enjoy it. I'm very jealous of you guys.
Okay.
But yes, Burnley. I'm going over to Burnley next week. My wife and I are going the opening match. We play Manchester City in the opening match on Friday next week, and it's going to be great.
Now, how much is your wife teaching you about soccer?
Oh, come on. I've been a big fan for a long time, but she does teach me. She does teach me some of the very fine intricacies of the game. Obviously, we're watching the Women's World Cup right now, but it's been fascinating. Our manager, Vincent Kompany, is a longtime Premier League legend, and he asks me questions about things in the NFL because he's a brilliant mind and he always wants to learn. So he'll ask me different things about NFL meetings and schedules to on the field things. Like he'll want to know how you signal plays and what's coverage is like. How do you beat zone coverages? How do you beat man coverages? It's fascinating to have conversations with him.
Good to talk to you. I wouldn't go too tight, the suit for CBS.
No, I got to breathe. It's got to breathe.
Yeah, you want to call attention to your words, not your physique, your arms.
So no crazy patterns, no crazy tie combos.
No, just clean, clean and crisp. You don't want to be outlandish just because of what you're wearing.
Right. I want my words to be outlandish.
Yeah.
Like
No, you don't have to be outlandish. You just have to be professional. That's what you want to be. You want to be professional like me.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. You don't.
How are the boys? Are all the boys good there? I haven't seen everybody in a while.
Let's see. Can we take a picture of the Danettes and show JJ? Yeah, they pretty much. Yeah. Yay. Yay. There they are. Say yeah.
You guys look great. I hope everybody's good. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys in person again soon.
Yeah,
Dan, you have a Burnley kit and hat coming your way. Fritzy probably stole it and put it in his house, but it should be there soon.
Busted.
Fritzy, did something come in for me from JJ1?
I don't want to get into it right now.
All right. Hey, congrats. Good luck, and we'll hopefully talk again soon. Thank you. That's JJ1.
Have a great day.
That's three-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year and CBS Sports NFL studio analyst.